I'm slow, right?
Mentally.
Oh my God, mentally, okay. I'm talking about I'm slow in the boxing ring, right?
Mentally.
I'm talking about the boxing ring, what you was talking about. I'm slow, right?
Mentally.
Okay, you're gonna see. I promise you're gonna see.
Teo, to Shakur's point, you seem to be the guy that rises to the level of your competition. When you were going against Loma, people felt you were the underdog. Josh Taylor, the same thing. And those are the fights where you really showcased your skills and abilities and upset the odds. Is this another fight where you're coming in there with that mentality to upset the odds?
Just put him in front of me and I'll beat him. Not about the odds. It's about, I guess defining them. You define the odds. Everybody's against you, great. That's when you know you're doing great. I put a thing out there. It's like, if you want to be liked in this sport, be a good boxer. You want to be loved in the sport, be the best boxer. But if you want to be hated in this sport, including the odds, be the greatest boxer.
So this interview starts looking all peaceful and professional, but underneath, pure electricity waiting to spark. The second they dive into their history, you can feel everything shift. Old wounds from the amateur circuit, who climbed faster, who got left behind. That's when the real conversation begins.
No, yeah, I'm thinking I don't know if it's 2011 or 2012 National Junior Olympics or Junior National Golden Gloves. And I remember seeing him. He was wearing a white tank top. I think it was red and white trunks. And he was just whooping on dude bad. And that's when I noticed we were both cleaning up our divisions leading up to the finals. He ended up winning. I ended up, coming in second.
Did you first become aware of Teo?
It's so crazy. So like when I first kind of got aware of Teo, it was probably before he even knew me. But I used to get on YouTube and I used to watch like the DMV fight, and I seen one of his fights up there and I kind of watched him. I thought he was a good fighter, and that's when I kind of got a first whiff of Teo. But when I finally first met him, probably was the same time you talking about.
Shakur drops this line about feeling some jealousy back then, and Teo fires right back saying he couldn't have cared less. Now we're not discussing their boxing resumes anymore. We're talking about wounds that never stopped bleeding.
I was good with Teo. I thought Teo was a little jealous of me. That's what I thought.
Yeah, he was getting the fights that you were calling for Loma. He got Loma.
Yeah.
Did you see him as a future foe?
I think that everything just plays out the way it does, and eventually we was gonna end up meeting up with each other eventually. I had never seen any jealousy in my part with him. I mean, for crying out loud, he fought for Team USA, got a silver medal. And,
not during them times though,
and
bro.
The whole thing
not
was
during them times. I'm speaking on the times where I felt like you had a push start. You got the you used to be ahead of me far as like ESPN only like black fighters and all that kind of stuff. And when you said that, I kind of felt like it was a shot at me. So I felt like it was a little bit of jealousy.
No, I just didn't give an F. That's all. Cool. Just didn't give an F about it all.
The moment arrives when Teo starts predicting he'll break Shakur down or put him to sleep, and you can literally sense the atmosphere change. But Shakur's comeback was ice cold. No shouting, just that terrifying, calm energy, basically asking if Teo really thinks he's that easy to figure out. That's the kind of statement that haunts somebody until bell time.
How do you feel when you hear a guy say he might not just stop you, but he might make you quit in the fight?
Make me quit is crazy. Like, I don't got no quit in me, but it's cool. He's supposed to feel that way. Like, he's supposed to say the things that he's saying. He's not saying nothing out of the ordinary or something that I didn't expect. Only thing that I kind of took away, he got on a podcast, I want to say, he said that I was slow. And that's the part where I'm like, okay, he's going to be very surprised come fight night, to where it's like, you really thought I was slow? Like, is that something like you put in your brain and thought it was about to come out there and work?
Teofimo's energy screams like he's protecting his kingdom, like this is his domain and somebody's disrespecting the rules. Shakur carries himself like someone who's been counting down to this conversation for years and couldn't care less whose domain it is. When the verbal sparring gets this intense across a simple interview setup, just picture what happens when those 12 rounds start and talking becomes irrelevant.
So you gonna erase my name?
I know what I'm going to do.
This one.
Basically, what I'm trying to let you know, right, is that boxing ain't going to allow it.
But how boxing not gonna allow it?
It won't.
How?
Because now you facing me.
Oh shit, I'm so scared. Tio, I'm frightened. I'm scared for my life. I'm facing you. That shit don't move me, bro. I can't wait to see you. I've been waiting on this. Yo, I don't know how you don't understand. I've been waiting on this moment forever. Like, it's been years and years for this moment right here. You gave me the opportunity. I appreciate you for that. But I'll come with it. Facts.
But while all that heat is building on camera, here's what should really grab Teofimo's attention. Shakur isn't just preparing, he's transforming. He's locked away in Colorado Springs at D1 training, working in that brutal thin air, grinding through rounds where exhaustion shows no mercy and weaknesses get highlighted immediately. That's Crawford territory, and fighters don't migrate there for the scenery. They go there to become weapons.
How many you got?
It's all fun and games, man. We just in here having fun, joking around and letting them get some experience. You know, when you boxing, you gotta box in front of a lot of different people. So being that they in front of a lot of people right now, we kind of gassing it up, making it feel like it's the atmosphere of a fight. So I enjoyed it.
This has nothing to do with social media content or generating buzz. This represents silent, relentless, high-altitude suffering where reflexes get sharper and cardiovascular systems become unbreakable. When someone like Shakur chooses that environment for camp, it reveals exactly what type of war he's expecting. Not wildness, not emotions, not arena energy, surgical precision, marathon endurance, championship round dominance.
Yeah.
They got it.
Let me see that.
That's good.
I feel great. You know, sprints kind of be getting me right, you know, get my conditioning right. You know, sometimes in a fight could turn into a sprint. Cause it's like, start the pace fast as hell and then they can't keep up the pace. But the sprints will kind of get you in shape to where once you break down, sometimes you get a second win. Then you get another win. Then you get another win after that. So I did the sprints a lot in a Jamel Herring fight. That's why you seen me fight at a fast pace. And then once I slowed down, I picked it back up and I had all the energy in the world to do it. So we locked in. Let's get it.
That mountain training is designed to ensure that when Teo is still launching bombs, Shakur is still processing clearly, and it's about weaponizing patience while turning stamina into unshakable confidence. So while Teofimo talks about ownership and control, Shakur is up there collecting hidden edges, constructing the type of engine that doesn't appear in heated exchanges but emerges when rounds become brutal. The frightening reality is that when words become meaningless, altitude training doesn't care about storylines.
So far, it came going great. We about a month away from fight day. Everything going according to plan. Court look great, man, great. He getting the rounds in, everything going according to schedule. We coming for the victory. You know, me as a trainer, I don't train to go the distance. I think that's wear and tear on the body. You put all the work in camp to make the fight night as easy as possible, and that's what he gonna do.
Speaking of Shakur disappearing into Colorado Springs, breathing that oxygen-starved air and perfecting his craft at D1 like he's gearing up for a 12-round strategy battle, everything circles back to New York because that's the collision point for all this tension. Listening to Paulie and Chris break this down on Boxing Scene, and you realize this is the real analysis now. No promotional nonsense, no yes men, just warriors who understand what Madison Square Garden does to your body and your mind. They nailed it completely. The Garden isn't just a location, it's an examination. For Shakur, it means proving everything. For Teofimo, it's survival mode.
Because Teofimo is at his most dangerous when he's counted out. And this is going to be one of those fights where he's going to be counted out. Because Shakur is looked at by and large as the guy who can dominate boxing in this generation, right? If it's just a matter of him getting the opportunity. I myself have felt that he's the guy who could and should be dominating boxing if he gets the right matchups. But bro, this is one of the rare matchups, if not maybe the only matchup, where I feel like it's a big threat here to Shakur.
There's something in how they describe him. The more doubt surrounding Teo, the more lethal he becomes. Like skepticism actually powers his engine. We've witnessed this pattern repeatedly. When Teofimo feels comfortable and everyone predicts his victory, he can lose focus. When pressure mounts and the audience is divided, that's when he elevates and accomplishes things that seem impossible. Shakur operates completely differently. He doesn't require drama to excel. He requires precision. He's the fighter who arrives prepared, stays composed, and dominates while others panic. This personality clash is exactly why this matchup feels special. Paulie calling this potentially Shakur's biggest test isn't criticism, it's truth.
And then they would all come undone only because of this reason. Teofimo Lopez, we've seen him at his best, but he typically brings out his best characteristics when he's back to the wall and he's counted out. And he's going to be counted out in this fight. By and large, people are going to side with Shakur in this fight to win the fight because he's the more consistent fighter, he's the more class fighter overall, and he's just so good. But Teofimo has a way, when you're so good and he knows you're so good and everybody feels like you're gonna beat him.
Shakur might represent the technically superior, more reliable fighter, but Teofimo embodies that rare wild card that refuses to follow scripts. He can elevate during pressure in ways that defy expectations, timing, and betting favorites. The way they describe New York as a fight participant makes perfect sense because it absolutely is. This isn't Las Vegas with its manufactured atmosphere and corporate polish. This is MSG, where reactions feel intimate and support feels suffocate. Teofimo absorbs that energy and sometimes converts it into rocket fuel. Shakur processes that energy and filters it out like white noise, completely different programming, identical ring.
But in Camp Bosis, he was not good. He did not. It was not a good night.
Oh, like a street fight.
Yeah, it was
shots.
And I think I was a guest on that on the call for that show, and I said I got one guy fighting with ego and I got one guy fighting with discipline, and that's what it was because he just went out there and was just trying to knock him out from round one, and it was not working out well. Now, is he going to do that against Shakur? Absolutely not. But also, we've seen him struggle with guys like Jermaine Ortiz. We've seen him struggle with who was the Canadian guy who I mean, not that he struggled, but he failed.
Martin gets another editing challenge here, because theoretically, Shakur should dominate. Cleaner technique, superior ring IQ, less emotional. But boxing exists in reality, not theory. Built on split-second decisions, and Teofimo thrives in those moments. That's the threat. That's why this fight matters beyond belts and rankings. It's testing whether systematic preparation defeats explosive unpredictability or chaos disrupts order. And when experienced fighters admit they wouldn't place money on this outcome, that's not indecision. That's acknowledging how mysterious excellence can be. This represents danger, not safety. And that's precisely why everyone's invested.
A weight class below and years out said I can beat that guy. He called out Jaron Ennis. Obviously, he didn't fight Jaron. But when him and his father put their heads together and they see something in a guy and they end up taking a fight like this that's dangerous where he's the underdog.
Then everything shifts when Buddy McGirt enters the conversation, and suddenly the room gets that focused, serious energy. Listening to him speak, this isn't promotion, this is belief. No theatrical moments, no social media sound bites, just someone who's observed multiple generations of talent stating plainly that Shakur operates differently. What strikes me is his directness. Not athletic comparisons, not volume levels, not ticket sales. Control, that's his focus. Buddy's essentially explaining that you can't pressure Shakur, intimidate him, or simply swing wildly hoping for magic. As Teofimo, you can't depend on confidence or power bursts. You must outsmart someone who thinks 3 moves ahead. That's an impossible assignment.
2 different styles. You know what I mean? And, Shakur just has a style that, to appreciate it, you got to be a real boxing person.
Yeah, because you know, when I say athleticism, it's like explosiveness and twitch, but isn't Shakur with the timing and the distance? It's more subtle.
Relax. You know what I mean? He can do whatever he can take control at any time when he wants to.
Is it like more efficient? Like Teo will cross arm and use all these reflexes. Then Shakur will just take a little half step back.
That's it.
Is that more
It's all
efficient?
about control. It's all about control.
How competitive a fight you think it's going to be?
It's going to be a very good fight. I mean, it's a fight, and it's in the right place, New York. I've always said, I said years ago in an interview, if that fight happens, it's got to be in New York.
Buddy describes Shakur's approach like someone who's already seen the ending while everyone else is still reading the opening chapter. He flows effortlessly, not through flash but through effectiveness. Smooth like every strategy you attempt fails and the reason stays mysterious. That's genuinely terrifying. When a trainer who's witnessed killers rise and fall declares him the elite talent among this generation, that's not regional loyalty or media content. That's someone quietly explaining that skill levels exist. What really resonates is how Buddy outlines the upset scenario because he avoids sugarcoating anything. He's basically warning that if anyone thinks Teofimo can transform this into a brawl, they're already defeated.
Shakur, definitely.
Why is that?
He's the best at that weight. No one's going to beat him at that weight. You know, he can go up to 47 and win a title. That's how good he is.
I mean,
And, it's going to be a good fight. I'm glad it's finally happening, you know, a good fight in boxing where you got two very skilled fighters. And look, I love Teofimo. You know, I picked him to beat Lomachenko. You know what I mean? But I just think that Shakur's on another level.
This hits because it's the reality fans resist accepting. This isn't about hard or highlight reels. This demands focus, patience, and matching Shakur's mental sharpness for 36 straight minutes. That's draining. Buddy respects Teo enough to speak honestly. Defeating Shakur requires peak intelligence, not peak aggression, and very few fighters achieve that under extreme pressure.
I remember Shakur as a kid when he was an amateur. And I always tell him, kid, he's just special, man. He's special.
What's Teo, if he can pull it, like if you were his trainer, what would be the game plan you think to try to pull off what would be an upset?
You gotta be double smart. You can't go in there and think you're gonna bully him. You can't think you're gonna go in there and bomb him out. You gotta be extra smart.
His prediction carries weight because he's not promising destruction. He's explaining that Shakur wins by controlling the fight's rhythm. Step back, recalibrate, steal confidence, steal timing, steal rounds repeatedly. When Buddy casually mentions that Shakur impresses him beyond all others, including superstars, that's not dismissal, that's wisdom. This is an emotional prediction, it's calculated warning. Facing Shakur Stevenson means battling someone who's already anticipating your decisions before you make them.
But Shakur's on point, man. You gotta be just as on point as he is. And that takes a different level of concentration.
Unanimous decision then for Shakur?
I don't know, man. I don't know, but I see him winning. I see Shakur winning, definitely.
Who do you see impresses you just a little bit more? I know they're both excellent. Haney
Shakur.
or Shakur? I mean.
Shakur.
Putting everything together creates a crystal clear picture. This fight transcends interview volume or microphone intimidation. It's preparation meeting chaos, discipline confronting volatility, mountain training versus emotional energy. You have Shakur Stevenson operating quietly, perfecting timing, conditioning, and decision-making like every round follows a predetermined script. Opposite him stands Teofimo Lopez, energized by skepticism, powered by pressure, capable of reality-bending moments when least anticipated. Every expert voice we've heard, fighters, trainers, analysts, reaches identical conclusions through different perspectives. This isn't manufactured drama, this represents genuine risk for both competitors. One error, one emotional mistake, one misread, and everything transforms. That's what makes this pairing special. No guaranteed outcomes, no simple narratives, just two elite fighters proving whose mindset survives when space disappears and rounds become warfare. So tell me, who earns your trust when everything's on the line? Shakur's calculated dominance or Teofimo's gift for exploding when written off? Share your thoughts below, let's have this debate for real, and remember to smash that like button, share this content, and subscribe to Boxing Headquarters. Catch you next time.